Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tim Bilecki, managing attorney of Bilecki Law Group down in Tampa. I'm here in Hawaii this week and just won a full acquittal in a sexual assault case defending a Marine over at Kaneohe Bay. And I'm going to steal a term from a fantastic attorney and friend of mine, what he calls being a trial warrior. And that was really what we needed this week in order to win this case. And if you want to take on a case involving like the one we had where you have lying cops, you have, lying witnesses. This case had, planted evidence. I'm not kidding. I did another video about this, but we no kidding had provable planted evidence on our client. And you're taking on all of these liars. You're taking on a staff judge advocate's office who is win at all costs. You're taking on law enforcement who really don't care about innocence or about whether the person actually committed the crime. What they care more about is checking the box and being able to say that they won or they solved the case, let alone whether it was the right person or not. But if that's what you're facing, you have to be a warrior to go in and win these cases. Because from the very beginning, it's hard to explain to people how much effort and how much adversity you're going to take on. And it's really hard to explain that until you've gone through that, when you just have yourself or our defense team and we're going up and against an entire military apparatus, an entire military machine that is unequivocally designed to get convictions. You have, prosecutors who are win at all costs, and basic things in a trial where DNA evidence is a critical part of a trial. They will have a DNA expert. They will have an entire lab, the U.S. Army Criminal Investigative Laboratories outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And you need a consultant to talk about the electropherograms and to talk about the STR, the YSTR testing, and if different alleles can be called. And you can't get an expert because you file a request to get funding for it and the government denies you, saying you don't need an expert. And it's just insane. And then you have to file a motion with the military judge. And oftentimes a judge may deny you an expert that you actually need. And it's adversity after adversity after adversity. And you've got to be able to just learn how to handle that adversity and frankly, be able to overcome that. And that's no easy task. It's something that I've been doing for, over 2 decades now. And you have to have a warrior mentality in order to win these cases, or you're just going to get chewed up and spit out and your client's going to be in prison. You're going to lose trials. And we see it over and over and over with all these new JAGs that get out and say, I want to be a civilian defense counsel. They open up a shop and they're out of business in like 6 months or a year because they can't win any cases. And you see the same issues with the military attorneys who are oftentimes, have their heart and their mind in the right place, but just don't have the experience. And they're going up against this like machine that's against them. And so if you're gonna, if you're accused of a crime, you're in deep trouble, and you're gonna have an entire military machine trying to get you convicted and put you in jail. And listen, the system's just not designed to be fair. And so you need someone with that warrior mentality who can take on, lying cops, who can take on prosecutors who want to win at all costs, who can take on, a staff judge advocate's office with an unlimited budget. And that's not enough. I mean, you can do all that. That's the pretrial work. But then it comes game time, and when you have to go into trial. And if you're a true trial warrior, you've got to be able to go in there and actually execute and actually win and make sure that you're the last man standing in that arena. And that means, flying, you were in Hawaii this week, and now it's like, oh, wow, awesome, you're in Hawaii. But the reality is you're out of the hotel at 6 a.m, you're in court by 7, and you're there till 9, 10 o'clock at night doing 14, 15-hour days for 1, 2, 3 weeks straight. And you have to have mental stamina. You have to have physical stamina. And maybe more important than that, you have to have moral courage to do what's right. And, if you have all of that, then you got to be able to walk into court and actually win. You got to have the technical skills and know how to talk to a jury, know how to do an opening statement. You have to know how to cross-examine someone that at least initially is going to appear credible, because they're going to go up there, these police officers wearing their uniform and riding in on the white horse of I'm a cop, and the members are going to want to believe them, and so you've got to expose them if they're lying. And you have to understand forensic science, because cases involve forensic science. That can be DNA, that can be serology, that can be digital forensics, that can be psychology. You have to be able to understand that and know how to utilize that in court, whether it's cross-examining their expert or calling your own expert. And you have to be able to, cross-examine the alleged victim who may be crying her eyes out on the witness stand. And you have to be able to expose that oftentimes it's fraud. It's not even true. And do that and package it all in a manner that which, shows your theory of the case and tells your client's story of innocence. And it's not an easy task. And you have to have that warrior mentality to be able to do that. Frankly, there's not a lot of us that do. And so if you are in that situation where you're facing a trial and you're staring down at the charge sheet right now and saying, Jesus, this looks really bad. I didn't do this. Or maybe you did something small and now you've got 6 charges, 12 specifications, and so on. And you're like, I don't want to spend the rest of my freaking life or the better part of my life in the military brig. Then who represents you, who you choose to represent you matters, right? Because when you walk into the courtroom, by the time you get there, you're going to have all of the pretrial litigation needs to have been done and needs to have been done correctly, so you're not set up for failure. And then when you finally walk into the courtroom and you're picking the jury and those 8 members are going to decide your fate, your lawyer better know what the hell he's doing. And he better be a game day performer, or she better be a game day performer and understand how to actually try cases and how to win them. And that is what I mean by being a trial warrior. And again, it's a term I kind of took from a very good friend of mine, Mike Waddington, who is an absolute trial warrior, one of the best in the business. But that's what you need in order to succeed, whether you're out here in Hawaii trying cases or really anywhere in the world trying these cases, because we try them to win them.